You are here because we are looking forward to the discount coupons. You must say that.
Absolutely.
What is the largest order you got in?
A few weeks back, we got 100 khichdis ka order during lunch.
लेकिन यार ये वो हेल्दी केक के बजाय हलवा दे दो यार कोई
Absolutely. What Swiggy and Zomato have done to this ecosystem is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, so many young people and so many all kinds of people are now taking up food entrepreneurship as a real thing.
Yeah.
There are people who have 3, 4, 5 outlets who are not VC funded, don't need to be VC funded, and doing extremely well. The biggest signal for food brand is frequency.
मुझे ये लगता है कि ये हेल्थ फूड जिसने वर्ड डिस्कवर किया ना, he wanted to torture all the people who are doing well, right?
We do about 55,000 orders a day, about 85 to 90 million ARR. Food entrepreneurs, Swiggy and Zomato are the equivalents of Play Store and App Store. And so I also do some angel investing, and I was so some of the angel investing companies were not doing well. So I actually said it's important to see what happened. And 70% of the money they raised went on AWS,
Absolutely.
Google, Facebook.
Yeah. Why do you think Amazon and the others, Uber, for example, who try to get into food delivery as aggregators, like competing with Zomato and Swiggy, why did they not work?
I think it's a 100 million burn out of the door business.
Oh, okay.
Like, if you start, you have to start with 100 million burn.
That's table stakes.
Net, this industry will grow at 30%. I think जो cloud kitchen business है, उसमें true pioneers are actually Fasos and Rebel because they were the first ones in India and probably in the world to have multi-brand thinking.
Yeah.
And that I think is the core of profitability of a cloud kitchen. Otherwise, cloud kitchens are very tough.
Hi, welcome Ankit. Such a pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure.
We were so excited when you guys became a neighbor with Nomad Pizza right across the street.
Yes.
We had the pizza yesterday.
Yep.
Ankit, just a little bit of introduction of your journey till Nomad Pizza in our neighborhood. Please let us know.
Right. So, Anand, really happy to be here. Looking forward to a conversation. So, my journey started in the internet world as an internet entrepreneur about 15, 16 years back. I started my own company, didn't work out. And in very early days, I was lucky enough to meet Binny. And I joined the company very, very early days. I was amongst the first few employees of the company. And then I had a chance to be part of a really, really unbelievable journey that Flipkart became. So I joined in very, very early 2010, February 2010, and was there for the next 6.5 years, building different businesses, learning a lot in the journey. And in 2016, decided to embark on the entrepreneurial journey again. While at Flipkart as well, it was as entrepreneurial as could get, such a large playing field, such a large canvas, and you could pick your areas of interest and really go deep. And then I got into Cult along with Mukesh, my co-founder. Ran that for about four years, and then I decided to go deeper into food. Even at Cult, we had EatFit as a brand, and which was beginning to do very well until the pandemic happened. And we used the pandemic to figure out what should be the overall food play, and not just health play, health food play, because food is much larger than just health food.
Right.
In fact, it's a small category if you look at the overall food industry in the world. And that's where we decided to hive it off, and the Curefoods happened. Curefoods is a large multi-brand cloud kitchen business where we put out these cloud kitchens, which are nothing but dark stores where people can order online from but can't go and dine out there. And now we have about 200 outlets with about 6 to 8 brands. We can go deeper in that later. But and now, like you mentioned, in the recent past, we figured that for some of our brands, there's an opportunity to do offline stores as well, brands which require experience. Nomad, like you mentioned, is a 1,000 rupee pizza.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people would be happy only dining or ordering in. So now a good chunk of our revenue started coming offline as well because that pizza demands that experience.
Yeah, you are here because we are looking forward to the discount coupons. You must say that.
Absolutely.
So, Ankit, ये जो health food जो आपने बोला ना, कि food is beyond health food. मुझे ये लगता है कि ये health food जिसने word discover किया ना, he wanted to torture all the people who are doing well, right? Most people who achieve a certain thing in their life, they go after health food, right?
Yeah.
People like me are like बस यार जो दिखाई दे रहा है अच्छा लग रहा है खा लो उसको, tasty है तो, right? तो ये health food तो थोड़ा सा मतलब just to punish the rich people, it's like somebody coined this word.
I think see, health food is a very large word, right? I think उसके अंदर if we go deeper, जो पहले इंडिया में लोग खाते थे, that was healthy. अभी हम बात कर रहे थे कि ज्वार, बाजरा, मतलब यही खाते थे लोग. and suddenly it's been discovered in the West कि you need to have millets and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this is what the local grain of India is. So if you're able to have local grains and just and India में पहले ये भी होता था कि रात को 6-7 बजे से पहले खा लो और like those are the things which have become the buzzwords now. But probably this world is going back to the
intermittent fasting ना. तो I'm a Jain.
Yeah.
Right? तो Jainism का rule ये है कि you can't eat after sunset.
Yeah.
And you have to eat 2 hours after sunrise.
Yeah.
It's called Porsi.
Yeah.
And which sort of gives you 14-15 hours.
Yes.
And that's the rule. It's a simple rule. And now, of course, it's come back as intermittent fasting.
Yeah, and that's how it's probably supposed to be, and that's why it was like that. अभी हम लोगों को पता लग रहा है क्योंकि, and like you mentioned कि थोड़े से भी successful लोग हैं, I think they also have to balance their travel and lack of sleep. So they ज़्यादा focus करना पड़ता है शायद.
वो तो है.
That's the thing.
वो तो है. लेकिन यार ये वो healthy cake के बजाय हलवा दे दो यार कोई.
Absolutely.
Were you into health before working with Mukesh?
See, of course, working with Mukesh gave a completely new insight into a lot of other areas, but I've always been into sports.
Right.
So just the fitness part of it was sorted.
Right.
I think the biggest advantage of working with Mukesh was, the focus on sleep or the importance of good sleep. The amount of focus he had on that really helped. So
awesome. Ankit, tell us a little bit about Curefoods, right? I mean, not a lot has been written about Curefoods.
Yes.
You guys probably keep it under wraps. Tell us how big the company is and what's the scope, how many brands, how many cities?
Sure. Right, so Curefoods, like I mentioned, we're building it like a house of brands. It's a large phrase and a lot of people use it that way, but we believe that food requires a house of brands. If you look at a week, we're at 28 meal slots, 7 days a week and 4 times a day. And if you're just one food brand or two food brands, it cannot give you the right customer thing. Because
your turn will come probably once in a week or once in a month.
Yeah, even like the best or highest frequency brand, even if you're like a Rameshwaram cafe, it'll be 7 times a week.
Yeah.
Because having either a breakfast or a snack 7 times a week. But if you're opening a large food company and the aim is to the TAM is 100 million, if you want the TAM to be 100 million people, you need different price points as well, Anand, because unlike many other consumer categories, food is one category where people eat across price points. If you're using an iPhone, you may not go back to Micromax or any other brand in the journey. But in food, you are eating at a Michelin star restaurant for lunch, but you may just eat at some chaatwala in the evening. Yeah. And that's why you have to have different price points and different cuisines. So
you have to compensate for the Michelin star experience by eating some good food. Right? Totally agree with you.
Yeah. So then what we have to figure out is if you opening a cloud kitchen, especially which is like a cloud kitchen can service 20 hours a day. And you can't just have 1 or 2 brands because then you're sitting idle for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and the capacity will not be utilized properly.
Exactly. So that's why we said that, okay, let's figure out what are the meal slots, talk to Swiggy and Zomato who are great partners for us, and figured that having an Indian daily food brand, which EatFit is what it is, like dal, roti, sabzi and brown rice and curry and all of that. So that's what EatFit is, and that covers at least 25% of the 28 meal slots that we spoke about. But then you have to have a biryani and a pizza brand and a dessert brand. So this became our starting point. So when we were starting in the middle of pandemic, right in the middle of the pandemic, we said we will go ahead with launching all of these categories and see what happens. But also building brands is insanely tough. Brand banana is a combination of luck, passion, serendipity, whatnot. So we said during the pandemic, a lot of these smaller brands were really struggling. They had become online only. So we put out a criteria that any brand which has at least 4 to 5 outlets, online or offline, and has good ratings and a good product, we went and made an offer, and we figured that a lot of them were working with us. So the starting point or the product market fit was, we said we'll set out 10 outlets in Bangalore, 10 cloud kitchens in Bangalore with 1 central kitchen. And that central kitchen responsibility was to cook for all of these brands. And within 4-5 months, and I put out my own capital to start this business. And within 4-5 months, the business was profitable. And we said it's working. Also, it was pandemic, there were tailwinds of online ordering, but all 4-5 brands were now giving good results. And that's when we decided to do the first round in series.
Very interesting. So you're saying that instead of creating a brand from zero, you said 4-5 outlets, something is proven, something is working.
Because customer love is there. Product love is there.
Yeah.
So which means you don't have to go back and redesign kiski recipe kya. It's very, very tough. And so that was our go-to-market strategy.
And it's probably restaurants are one area where their success rate is as much as startup and VC success rate.
Yeah, and fold up, even a successful restaurant can fold up anytime.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's where
same like VC funded companies.
So that was our product market fit or the concept fit that this concept can work.
Got it.
We raised Series A, and then that's where we said, okay, we need a couple of larger brands. These are all small brands, and we acquired our first large brand, which is CakeZone. It was a 50 million ARR company, and it was bootstrapped, profitable, and it's a large brand. It's a 200 crore brand now, doing very well. So that was the first big brand that we acquired.
Okay.
And now, if you look at our brand portfolio, we have EatFit, which is our largest brand. It is an Indian food.
That's
brand.
your own brand.
That's your own brand. It's an Indian food brand which has high frequency. The classic product out there is like a three compartment meal: protein, vegetables, and roti, and something like that. Yeah. So that is the largest brand. Second largest is CakeZone. Third biggest is Sharief Bhai biryani. Like India loves its biryani, and that's a offline first brand. We open offline outlets, and of course online is the byproduct. And fourth largest is Nomad Pizza. It was an online only pizza brand, very premium. We decided to play in a premium category very consciously because the segment below that, Domino's, is an unbeatable company there. They have 80%, 70% market share.
I'll come to that. Yes. Why is Domino's unbeatable? I'll really come back.
Yes. So this is what our portfolio looks like across all of these 4 brands, and we have a bunch of labels that we keep experimenting. And if it works, we keep merging it back into these bigger brands, etc. So 4 to 6 brands. We're operational in 16 cities. Bulk of the business comes from the top 8 cities, and that's what the food commerce market right now looks like.
It is right now. Yeah.
And we do about 55,000 orders a day, about 85 to 90 million ARR. So that's where we are.
Phenomenal. That's great numbers. And what is the brand which will maximum promise?
See, from a TAM point of view, EatFit, because it's like a 250 rupee meal and a lot of orders and frequency. But I think if I have to personally pick one brand which will be extremely big in the next 10 years, I think Sharief Bhai biryani will be a pretty large brand, and I feel it can be the second largest brand after EatFit, purely from a TAM and a scale point of view. CakeZone is a entry level cake brand, and whenever there's a celebration in companies or anyone, people order that. It's a pretty. So I think all of these 4 are doing really well. If I have to stack rank it in 10-year view, it'll be EatFit, Sharief Bhai, CakeZone, Nomad in that order in terms of scale.
Got it. And the premium brands usually are expecting like a Nomad to do lesser compared to a biryani.
Yes, but I think if you look at the margins, maybe all of them will be similar because EatFit will have the lowest margins, and margins would be like similar, but revenues will be different.
No, we were doing some analysis, and Zomato puts out very interesting numbers around, So actually, that's a good thing Zomato is doing.
Yes.
Because for budding food entrepreneurs, that's a very good reference point.
No, I think talking about the budding food entrepreneurs, I think what Swiggy and Zomato have done to this ecosystem is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, so many young people and so many, like all kinds of people are now taking up food entrepreneurship as a real thing. Yeah. There are people who have 3, 4, 5 outlets who are not VC funded, don't need to be VC funded, and doing extremely well. So I think Swiggy, Zomato, if you figure out the right economics, so see, they do charge their commission and that's their business. And sometimes people do crave about it. But if you can figure out the right food cost to MRP ratio, then you will do
the success of a cloud kitchen would be better than a offline restaurant?
I think so too, because if that's a question, the answer is yes, because in one cloud kitchen, you can at least launch 2-3 labels, and that takes care of utilization through the day.
Got it. And these 2 duopoly will take care of your demand.
Yeah,
if you do
that's the good part. For us today, about 30% of our demand comes from our own channels, which is offline, own websites. Swiggy, Zomato is half and half, 35-35. So we don't feel we're not concerned about it at all. Like
you just need to manage the quality and
I'm saying it's like
service.
So it's like how Play Store and App Store are a duopoly. Like Swiggy and Zomato. So if you're a consumer app, you don't say, oh, there's a duopoly, is it a risk? No, it's not. It's an opportunity. So likewise for food entrepreneurs, Swiggy and Zomato are the equivalents of Play Store and App Store.
I agree. I mean, of course, the Google, Facebook duopoly is really, really atrocious. I'm sure when you want to expand your own app downloads, you would have.
So we spend very little on. We in this my current venture, we decided that we'll spend a lot more. We'll spend the same money on brand building. You won't see the result today. You'll see
Zomato will cap their commission or their take rate to, let's say, 25-30%. There'll be some cap on.
It will be a commercially derived number, not like a blanket number.
So unlike Google, where the objective is to squeeze out all the venture capital you raised and no link to the economics.
So I also do some angel investing, and I was just some of the angel investment companies were not doing well. So I actually said it's important to see what happened. And 70% of the money they raised went on AWS,
absolutely,
Google, Facebook.
yeah, absolutely. थोड़ा हिस्ट्री के बारे में बात करते हैं अगर द हिस्ट्री ऑफ द फूड इंडस्ट्री. तो जोमेटो और स्विगी वो पिवटिंग पॉइंट था कि इंडस्ट्री ब्रेकआउट हो गया. आई मीन मैं रेबल फूड्स का इन्वेस्टर हूँ. इन्वेस्टर आई वाज द फर्स्ट इन लाइक यू नो फर्स्ट एंजल इन्वेस्टर सिंस 2010.
Nice, very nice.
And he's made more money for me than I've made for myself. But the industry wasn't as big or you know as much I'd say prominence, and it wasn't a part of everybody's daily life till what like would you agree that Zomato and Swiggy were the turning points?
They were. And if you actually talk about the history, you know, maybe we go back 40 years in time. So in 1980s, which is 40 years back, India mein there were no restaurant chains. There was no chain. Even the number of restaurants per city would be very limited. और वो नाम आज भी याद है हमको.
Nirula's might be one.
Nirula, हमसे वो नाम आज भी याद है हमको और वो उतने ही थे. And then either you were standalone restaurants. I'm not talking about the unorganized. Organized, इनका definition would be digital billing, uniform, good cutlery, so organized. So बहुत कम थे. 1990s में the Indian restaurant chains started coming up in South Indian food category. So Nirula's was an exception, जो fast food में था, but उसमें दिल्ली में सागर रत्ना वाला चेन आया, साउथ इंडिया में A2B वाला चेन आया. So all of these things started coming up, and that's where the QSRs also came to India. And McDonald's, Domino's, KFC, they all came in late 90s. So and then the cafe boom
and
happened.
Some came and didn't work out. Wendy's didn't work out in the first run.
And then the first big boom, even before these brands started doing very well, was actually the cafe boom. Barista and CCD in the early 2000s were just proliferating through the country. And that's when also Domino's, KFC and Pizza Hut also started doing really well. So the American QSRs, cafes and some Indian chains were taking care of the expansion. And
Domino's IPO came in like what, 2005 or
I think similar time.
Something like that,
And there was a time when they were valued more than their American holdco, the Indian business.
I remember that. About $2 billion. Interestingly, since then, the American company also has done very well. Their growth has been almost in parallel to Amazon.
They had they revived after because of the app and a lot of new technology that they built. And that's a different story altogether. The American revival is also a big story. But 2000s is when the Indian food market broke out. And that's when 2011-12, a lot of Indian entrepreneurs were trying to do their own QSRs, and that's what Fasos was then. And Zomato was just a listing website, and Swiggy came in 2013.
13-14.
And that's what enabled the offline retailers to start seeing online. I think जो cloud kitchen business है, उसमें true pioneers are actually Fasos and Rebel, because they were the first ones in India and probably in the world to have multi-brand thinking. And that I think is the core of profitability of a cloud kitchen. Otherwise, cloud kitchens are very tough because of the commissions that you pay to Swiggy, Zomato, delivery Hooray, etc. So coming back to the expansion part, of course, Swiggy, Zomato were the reasons why it grew. But the good supply, which came from the American QSRs, were very quick on latching on the If the good supply does not exist, marketplace fails.
Oh, I totally agree. You know, I spoke to Binny Bansal once, briefly, like in 2012 or something. We were angel investing in one company, and he was like, "Here, we need brands in India. If we don't have brands, how will we sell? Everything is unbranded. How can
and to that
grow
point,
without,
Flipkart started in 2007. We launched Marketplace in 2013. 6 years later, because we were just not confident whether the sellers or the local brands can even match the quality promise which Flipkart was promising. So same thing. So when Swiggy started, I remember very well, they had 30-40 restaurants listed. Half of them were American QSRs and half of them were people like Truffles and Meghna Biryani, which are large single city brands. And then small brands started coming in. A lot of cloud kitchens came and went. Like any industry, a lot of failures happened. But I think the Boxate group, the Rebel group, and now Curefoods. I think there are 3 people who've now at least crossed that 5, 6, 7 year time frame. And probably.
And now a lot of younger entrepreneurs are learning that, even if they're not VC funded. I think.
But now a lot of, even if not VC funded, I see a lot of senior angels doing a lot of food investments. You know, from cafes to darshinis and whatnot. A lot of interests in food, it seems.
Is it a good investment? Whether
I think they would be good acquisition targets in future, not only from people like us, but also scaled up large companies like ITC and Dabur.
they want to add to this?
Yeah, so see, Burmans have a large play in food anyways.
Yeah.
So I think they'll continue to, and now that Devyani, Jubilant, all of them are listed, and they might start seeing, not Devyani, they are growing crazy, but for example, Jubilant, incredible business, but now
They
20
need to
years,
expand.
They need
I
to,
agree with
and
you.
some of their own brands may not have done as well as Domino's.
Yeah.
So they may be open to just acquiring these
I
100 crore brands.
Some of these guys are lagging behind in their acquisition,
Yes.
probably. Yeah.
Yes, acquisition, they have done very well in getting American brands to India.
Yeah.
And Devyani has also done well in aggregating demand in places like airports and becoming an aggregator. But I don't think they've acquired any good quality Indian brands yet, which I think, people like Smoor, which Rebel did.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be able to do that.
Yeah, I think there is also a question of make versus buy, but I am seeing companies like ITC and other FMCG giants acquiring startup brand. Like
Yes.
Yoga Bar was like one big
Very good
validation
story.
of-
Very good story. Yes.
The only thing is that in these kind of businesses, the entrepreneurs have to be conscious that if their end game is to selling to somebody else, they have to raise less capital.
And valuation has to be public market equivalent.
Equivalent, yeah.
Which is 3x in D2C world and not 10x. So,
I totally agree. I think. By the way, why do you think Amazon and the others, Uber, for example, who try to get into food delivery as aggregators, like competing with Zomato and Swiggy, why did they not work?
I think it's a 100 million burn out of the door business.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
and if you start, you have to start with 100 million burn.
That's a table stakes.
This is table stakes. So Uber did not have that kind of, I guess Uber did not have that appetite in India, but they've done very well elsewhere. In Europe, it's a really large business for them. Probably they didn't want, and then like their strategy across the globe, they find a partner and sell their business. So Zomato bought over that business and it helped Zomato get a good market share in different pockets, which Zomato has done very well with acquisitions in general.
That's true.
And when it comes to Amazon, I think this is my take. I have not heard from them. I think their core focus on commerce is very good, but I think a lot of their smaller bets haven't done very well. It seems like medicine delivery and express delivery, which is like a Blinkit equivalent. So I think
they've experimented, but haven't really.
Yes, I think it's not taken off really well. And precisely why at Flipkart, I don't think we ever thought of doing food delivery, because any of this requires like a team like Zomato or Swiggy. So either you create that or just address the market you're already
I
in.
feel that after Amazon came, maybe Flipkart stopped doing that many experiments. A lot of experimentation was going on before Amazon came into India. I think.
Yes, I think once Amazon came in, it also expanded the market that fast, because now there were two people spending the same kind of monies with serious intent. There had been a lot of fly-by-night operators in the e-commerce world.
I agree.
That still exists, but I'm saying with Amazon came, it became like a real playground. And opportunity was immense. And now if you look at, as a consumer, what I see is that Amazon is probably doing well in the top 6-8 cities. But Flipkart has gone so wide and so deep in tier 3, tier 4 cities.
I saw the latest exit. I'm assuming that's ex PhonePe, right?
Yeah.
Phenomenal now. Like almost 50 billion market cap, I would say.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yes.
Phenomenal. That's one story which is sort of, we people in cities, we don't appreciate, because like you said, we don't order as much from Flipkart.
No, but if you go to Northeast India, my guess is they have about 80-90% market share.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have also figured out very deep strategies.
Yeah. So we talked about entrepreneurs coming into Cloud Kitchen, right? What are the unit economics and how does somebody make money in Cloud Kitchens?
Right. See, I think there are two unit economics I'll talk about. One is the order economics and second is kitchen P&L. So I think it's a very done thing that for food business, you have to have a minimum AOV of $4. And this is what's a global phenomena. So $1 is your food cost. So it has to be 25 to 30%. $1 will go away in your shipping, packing, commission bucket. $1 will go away in your administrative and kitchen costs, and that's the 25% margin you make. This is utopian world. This is what a KFC, Pizza is slightly higher.
Domino's would have achieved that.
Domino's is $6, and that's why they are what they are, and that's the reason why they're what they are. The AOV is 550 rupees in that racket.
Yeah.
So the $4 thing is very, very important, and a lot of young people who are getting into food business, they don't realize that tracking that 30% food cost is so critical. A lot of people are at 50, 60, 70%.
And most people actually end up realizing only $3, right?
Yeah, that's the
thing. Then 30% becomes even more difficult.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So $3 and 30. So that's the thing. So either you get to a 350, and I think one thing which
get to a $4, $5.
Yeah, one thing which consciously done is that now we are at AOV of 350. Pre-pandemic, we were at 240.
Yeah, everybody was.
It was so difficult.
Yeah.
And we've said no to so many kinds of categories because of that, etc. Like there is no samosa brand that we have because it's just impossible to sell samosa. But that is the highest selling SKU.
Yeah. On a per piece, you may have the margin.
Yes.
But the AOV will change everything.
See, if Swiggy, Zomato will find a way to charge 50 rupees, 70 rupees per order because that's the delivery cost.
Yeah.
A guy picking a product and delivering is 60 rupees.
Yeah.
So if they don't get 20% of 300, it won't make sense. So that's the thing.
And I mean, I don't think that, the snack and the 100 rupee meal, I think there is no lane in Bangalore where you don't have 3 options, right?
Exactly.
So you don't really,
exactly.
You can't like charge 70 rupees of delivery fee on that.
Absolutely. And the reason why people order is one of the 3. A lot of people order because it is the only way they eat, because they don't have a setup at home. See, setting up a kitchen is like setting up an industry. You have to dedicate a space, which is, you're paying rental for that. Imagine you living in a 1,000 square feet house and a 70 square feet, you're paying 7% rental for kitchen. So if you're paying 50,000 rental, 3,500 rupees a month. Then you get supplies. It's almost like ordering raw material every day. Then you have to get manpower, getting a cook, or you do it yourself, then your man hours.
And retain manpower.
Yeah, so I'm saying all of this put together, it is very cumbersome. So ordering in is the way forward for a lot of people. So that's one segment. Second segment is office lunch. I think post-pandemic that buffets in office is done. I think not seeing that come back at all, where there will be buffet laid out on the terrace, etc. I think.
Is it because people are cutting costs? Or?
It started with hygiene. So people started transferring money to the employees as food pass or food coupons. And now the food inflation. So now the food pass is fixed at 100 rupees a day. So you don't need to take care of inflation.
It will probably cost 3x of that.
Yes, I'm saying now even though the food has become expensive, that's still 100. So that's a very large segment. For EatFit, 60% of orders are office locations. It's not a B2B business. People order in the offices. And the third one is where people are deal seekers. And that's the segment which is like, will keep coming and going. If there's a deal on Domino's Pizza today, even if I was not willing to eat a pizza today, I order. So that's a large segment, but the good thing is it's changing. Now people are moving for convenience reasons and hence willing to pay fees. But samosa pe wo shayad nahi ho payega, and that's the challenge in that category.
So what signal for you, for example, when you start your own brand or acquire a brand, what signals do you look for apart from AOV? Okay, this brand is now here to stay and it can become a good business. Because a lot of times what happens, I've seen that very highly qualified people spend 3, 4, 5 years struggling to build a brand without really being able to judge, okay, what is the time to stop?
Yeah, you're talking about food brand or brand in general?
Food brands, let's say.
Food brand. Yeah. See, I think the biggest signal for food brand is frequency.
Okay.
If you don't see customers coming back to you with the desired frequency, see, Nomad we don't think people will come in an offline location come back more than 3 times a month.
Got it.
That's also on a higher side, but we're seeing that frequency and we track that. In a place like EatFit, we get 7 orders a month from one customer.
Oh, okay.
And we feel that it can go up to 10. And we also offer a subscription which allows you to order 30 meals a month, either lunch, dinner, or a combination. And about 2% of our customers are on 30-day meal packs at an AOV of about 6,000 rupees. So they pay 6,000 at the start of the month. It's a recurring mandate. So frequency is one very, very big thing. Second is, in a 6-month or a 9-month or 12-month cohort, on 6th month, 9th month, 12th month, what percentage of your customers were still new versus returning? Okay. So one is customer frequency and second is repeat. So for a brand, a lot of people in the first 18 months do well, Anand, because there's still a lot of new people discovering it.
Discovering them and they're in the neighborhood.
Yes, but in the 6-9 month, if you're still getting 80%, 70% new customers, then that's a big red flag.
So by 6-9 months, it has to be like majority should be repeat.
70-30.
70 repeat.
70 repeat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And at least 20% of them on very high frequency. People who almost come every day.
I love the analogy. I think I invested in a company called Hola Chef.
Of course.
And once Jaideep of Rebel called me one morning and like, boss, kya chal kya raha hai tumhara Hola Chef mein? I have come to Rebel office and everybody has ordered Hola Chef. They did very well. We had frequency
of Bombay brand, right?
Bombay brand, yeah. We had frequency of IIT Bombay fellow.
Yes.
frequency of 10, 12 orders by the time when we wound up, 12 orders a month.
Wow.
We had a high AOV. We had an AOV of about 300 rupees in those days. This is 2014.
But they used to do like a big meal.
But we just lost on one thing. Food cost was 70%.
And that's the thing, Anand, like a lot of us internet entrepreneurs, when we get into food business, the DNA is very different.
Yeah.
See, I think the food cost is such a big problem statement, especially in the current inflationary time, but that will also change. It's actual back-end integration. You have to go to the farms, fisheries, poultry, and it's a daily thing. You have to negotiate daily. And that focus very few internet entrepreneurs had because the focus was on the customer side.
Yeah.
Like, how do we
as long as
more?
my NPS is good and my ratings are good.
Yeah, and packaging mein matlab put two extra things. Here, how to make it functional and yet good looking. As opposed to pehle ka jo thoda sa philosophy tha that we'll put 2 thank you cards and 1 feedback card and extra. If you're sending pizza, send 6 oreganos क्योंकि हमेशा insight ये आएगा कि हमेशा मांगना पड़ता है. There's a reason क्यों मांगना पड़ता है because it is expensive.
Yeah.
And if Domino's जब बांटने लग गया तो उनका food cost of 25% achieve नहीं होगा.
Yeah.
Domino's is a 20% PAT company because their food cost is 25% on an AOV of $6.
Yeah. I think everybody should go and take a look at all the historical filings of Domino's to see because that is a benchmark nobody has met today, right? I think it's also high AOV, but you're right, also backward integration and a lot of work.
Major backward integration. They control supplies for so many categories.
Yeah. I think I've heard that they book their grains and stuff in advance and all of that.
They do all of that, and we love hearing stories about Western brands saying आलू के खेत हैं McDonald's के वैसे ही होता है.
That's the only way. Because once your AOV sticks, the next 5%, 10% will come from these things.
Yeah,
you can't increase the price.
The menu head, the former menu head of McDonald's, Abhijit, is a close friend. He also ran a public market company called Tasty Bites, food entrepreneur. So he was telling me like the kind of things McDonald's has done to achieve that 100 rupee price point and still 25% food cost.
Right.
Like सारा खाना 25 रुपए का है, and still it is standard, nice, everything, right? So,
and that's the beauty that all of these global brands, in spite of paying 5-10% royalties, in spite of that, they have 50% margin. It's crazy.
Right now, the McDonald's South franchise is killing it. The unbelievable results each quarter.
Westlife, right?
Westlife.
Yeah, I saw the stock. It doubled over a year or something. Yeah, fabulous. You know, this Swiggy Zomato's duopoly has demonstrated pricing power.
Yeah.
Their take rate has gone up significantly. Yeah. I mean, like Zomato has this inside the GST and packaging charges, they added 30 rupees, which was the biggest driver of their last quarterly performance.
Yes.
I think, right? I'm sure you guys are aware of that.
Yes,
right?
yes. We work very closely.
And you don't get anything out of that, out of the 30 bucks. Do you get anything?
We don't. No,
don't.
The shipping which they charge, no, we don't.
You don't, right? The packaging charges, restaurant packaging charges?
We get a share out of that.
Get a share out of that,
yes.
Okay. But
we don't get a share of the surge pricing. The shipping fee is what they charge us. So,
right. But what I'm saying is that the volumes haven't really gone up. You think it's temporary because there's so many of these cloud kitchens and all of you depend, most of your sales, 70% of your sales for everybody practically. In fact, for most people, it's 80-90%.
90%.
90%. You guys have achieved 70%.
Yeah, we've worked hard to get to 70%.
But you're still dependent on Zomato and Swiggy, whose volumes are not growing.
Yes.
So what's the path for, because if the volumes remain stagnant, what is the path for growth for these cloud kitchens?
See, I think, I'll tell you why Zomato, Swiggy volumes seem to be stagnant. There was an artificial inflation in the market size for 2 reasons. One, it was a pandemic and a lot of restaurants were still offline, online only, and a lot of customers were still ordering online. I think that trend continued well into second half of 2022. I would say 12 months of clean slate now. So that artificial thing is gone.
Okay.
The second thing was the discounting. Where there was a lot of discounting dry powder available across the funded cloud kitchens, across Swiggy, Zomato themselves, where they would be putting some coupon where they're co-funding it, and that was the zero interest rate world.
Also an artificial way of expanding the market.
Yeah, that's like e-commerce. So e-commerce, we have done that correction 3 times, 2012, 16, at least 2 times, where we shaved off the last 10% revenue, saying इसका तो कभी पैसा बनेगा ही नहीं. मतलब ये तो -60, -70% contribution margin पे. So that's what Swiggy must have done.
So everybody let go of the
We
last
also
10%.
did that. Rebel also did that. तो वो market 10% उसके कारण shrink हुआ. So now if the volumes are still larger or marginally larger than last year, तो वो उतना growth हो गया है. जितना they let go, उतना growth आ गया है.
And what you're saying is that means that at the current numbers, current AOV and current level of discounting,
Yes.
you think volumes will keep growing now?
Now they will grow at 2x the speed of the restaurant industry, which grows at about 13-14%. I think 20% growth in online industry is the way to go.
And this 20% will be part volume, part price.
It would be including inflation. So
Including
I think 15 and 5.
15 and 5. Oh,
Yes.
15 volume.
15 in volume and 5
Wow,
in...
that's phenomenal. Okay.
And one other thing which definitely is not happening, Anand, is ordering increase beyond top 20 cities. Top 20 cities के बाहर मेरे को कोई एटलीस्ट मेरा थीसिस ये है कि हाइपर लोकल बिजनेस डज नॉट नीड टू एग्जिस्ट. हाइपर लोकल डिलीवरी बिजनेसेस डोंट नीड टू एग्जिस्ट.
Yeah, the city is hyper local itself,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah, so even when we tried it, जैसे बैंगलोर में we have 28 kitchens given the density etc. In a city like Ahmedabad, which is like a 12th city or 11th city in
It
terms
is.
of population,
Pretty
GDP,
large, yeah.
everything,
Pretty large
we need
city.
4.
pretty affluent city and
4 kitchen से हमारा हो
still
जाता है.
pretty dense, yeah.
And if I know, we are also now mapping cities like Coimbatore, Salem, एक kitchen, which means it does not need a cloud kitchen. You need a restaurant there. And that's what our strategy is.
You need an offline restaurant.
We are in Ahmedabad. We're launching a large EatFit restaurant.
Yeah.
Let's see whether it works or not. It's an experiment next week, and maybe that's the way to go in cities number 20 to 50.
Agree.
That's the thing.
I think you're right. I mean, in those cities, given the social structure,
Yes.
When you to like spend money on food, you'd rather go and have a social occasion out of it
Yeah.
instead of ordering in.
Domino's
Yeah.
in these cities is
Offline,
80% offline.
dine in, yeah.
And it's a celebration place. हमारे लिए
Exactly.
like कि खा ले
Exactly.
जाके.
Yeah.
वहाँ सारे birthday parties होते हैं, kitty parties होती हैं. उनके लिए it's a very big
But
occasion.
I'd say that in Ahmedabad, restaurants do very well
Extremely
because
well.
people celebrate 3 times a week. So
I think per capita consumption in restaurants in Ahmedabad is insane.
Insane.
Like, number of
Insane.
restaurants, good quality restaurants.
and at the same time, dine-in will be very, very low proportionately.
yeah, ordering in you mean.
Ordering in, yeah.
Very
sorry.
low. We
Very
figured. So I think ordering in में there are certain pockets. जैसे late night बहुत चलता है. Basically जब supply available नहीं है, तब it works very well.
And you're saying that cloud kitchen brands, when they go to cities like Ahmedabad, Indore, they'll be received very well in offline?
No, I don't know, and I think it will be a tough challenge.
Okay.
So Ahmedabad में हमारा पहला launch है, and we are putting all our we are moving with full blaze.
You're launching what, biryani or?
EatFit.
EatFit, okay.
Basically Indian thalis.
Thali. Oh.
And मतलब all Gujarati style, Rajasthani style. And since it's such a big event for us and a big risk for us, a big experiment for us, we're getting our brand ambassador Varun Dhawan also to go launch and do a launch event. Like we're putting our best foot forward क्योंकि पता लग जाएगा कि फिर 12 शहरों के बाहर market है या नहीं है. नहीं है, then we'll have to just find a way to get to. So we have 250 outlets right now, offline, online put together. And to be a top 5 player in the country, we need to be 700, 800 outlets in terms of revenue. Right now we're in 10th, 11th position in terms of food service companies in volumes.
Right.
तो उसके लिए फिर हमको 700-800 stores करने हैं in these cities. Then we'll have to have 70-80 outlets in Bangalore as opposed to 28. So वो I think Ahmedabad, Coimbatore के learning के बाद we'll get to know whether we have to go deep here or we can go wide.
एक बार बताओ, ये so broadly, I think this people spoke a lot about Thrasio. So the cloud kitchen guys like you, Rebel,
Yes.
even people like Devyani, for example,
Yes.
they are the OGs of.
Yeah.
है ना, इन्होंने मतलब ये असली लोग हैं.
और
Thrasio
Unilever,
वाले.
I would say Unilever.
Unilever. They're the god of all Thrasios.
आपको पता है Thrasio मैंने फर्स्ट टाइम सुना 2021 जनवरी में और हमने ये वेंचर लॉन्च किया 2020 अक्टूबर में. तो मैं किसी वीसी को पिच कर रहा था जब हमारा पीएमएफ हो गया था एंड उसने कहा अरे आप तो थैसी हो, तो मैंने तो
Thrasio
spelling-
food.
और उसने बोला तो स्पेलिंग समझ नहीं आती ना, मतलब देन आई लुक्ड एट डिफरेंट
वो
कॉम्बिनेशन,
थोड़ी बेइज्जती हो गई.
देन आई फिगर्ड कि अरे मतलब कि देयर इज
Hindustan liver of food is better.
हाँ, सो आई वाज स्टिल सेइंग कि आई एम बिल्डिंग लाइक आई वुड लव टू बी अ यूनिलीवर ऑफ
Yes.
कि साबुन के 3 ब्रांड हैं एंड आई यूज्ड टू हैव द थीसिस वेरी क्लियर कि पिज्जा के लिए भी नीड 2 ब्रांड्स. तो हमारे ईटफिट के अंदर भी एक पिज्जा है जो कि मल्टीग्रेन होल व्हीट सावरडो, वो 200 रुपए का है. तो उनको ये समझाना था कि we need a 1,000 rupee pizza and a 200 rupee pizza. So like, and I would always give example of Rin Surf. कि Rin और Surf 2 brand है. Then I think Thrasio was built specifically for Amazon sellers. While house of brands have always existed. Madura, अरविंद, अब मदुरा को देखिए, लुई फिलिप, वैन ह्यूजन, एलन सॉली, पीटर इंग्लैंड, एक शर्ट के 4 ब्रांड, एंड दैट्स हाउ इट्स
I
सपोज्ड टू
agree.
बी।
That's how it's supposed to
और उनका आप दुकान देखेंगे चारों साथ में होंगे, बट
हाँ, एक मॉल में तो होते ही हैं कम से कम। तो ये बताओ यार, जैसे ये आटा है ना, तो हिंदुस्तान लीवर इट अ लॉन्गर स्ट्रगल, पर धीरे धीरे उन्होंने आटे को भी ब्रांडेड कर दिया और ऑर्गेनाइज कर दिया। और आप लोग अब फाइट मार रहे हो कि अहमदाबाद जाओगे और थाली को आप ऑर्गेनाइज कर दोगे, तो विल इट बी एज हार्ड? इतना लंबा टाइम लगेगा? हिंदुस्तान लेवल काफी टाइम लगा आटे को ऑर्गेनाइज
इट विल बी अ लॉन्ग साइकिल। अगर top 8 शहर के बाहर भी लॉन्ग साइकिल, बट Anand, one thing is very clear, and we saw it in Flipkart also, and I think you would also agree that as the consumer moves up the financial ladder or the lifestyle ladder, the unorganized to organized is the first thing that happens, or consuming branded things is the first thing that happens. तो अगर आप मान लीजिए कोई जाता है XYZ टिफिन सेंटर इन अहमदाबाद, वहाँ पे 125 रुपए की थाली खाता है, 125 rupees. If that person goes to EatFit and gets a 175 rupees thali, but also sees a Varun Dhawan picture here and also sees that you can order on the app and pre-order and get, and you can also customize, then he feels that he's moved a notch up. So we are trying to get a customer who's moving up from unorganized. Of course, there will be some very good local favorites जिसको हम beat नहीं कर सकते, मतलब वो पुराने brand हैं, people go there for that. But there are a lot of unorganized thali players in Ahmedabad, and a lot of them. Can we make it the next destination for them after they have moved up the financial ladder?
Yeah.
And that's my thesis, that even in pizza, even in biryani, even in everything else, people start consuming branded, good quality stuff once they move up the financial ladder, and that happens. Like गाड़ियों में देखा ही हमने कि पहले यहाँ से यहाँ, यहाँ से यहाँ. I think it happens in clothes. I think it happens in most consumer brands.
No, recently I read a statistic about cars. Like most people now want sunroofs.
Yeah.
And the auto manufacturers didn't anticipate the demand for so many sunroofs.
Yes.
Although in India, because of the summers, sunroofs are practically useless.
Yeah.
I mean, you really wouldn't want to.
Yeah, it's just
it's just a thing that you want it.
Bragging right.
Bragging right. Yes. Yeah.
No, it's same thing happened in TVs, in panels. India में the speed at which the
size increased.
It was just
phenomenal.
Exactly वही है. No, there is a ratio to be maintained. Distance viewing. लेकिन लोगों ने वो इंडिया में फॉलो ही नहीं किया.
People,
छोटे से घर है लेकिन 16 inch
biggest TV. I agree. and within that also they want a Sony kind of an expensive brand. They'll not go for a cheaper brand.
So there were a lot of things that India में what defines their social strata is a big insight in itself.
Yes. And you're right. I think which is why targeting celebrations when somebody is treating somebody, that becomes a good occasion.
Yeah. So one insight which came when we were opening Nomad, हमने Nomad के लिए customer experience survey किया, ये किया. So one insight that came is that Nomad should be a place where people feel proud to host you. यार देखो दिखाता हूँ मैं आज मैं तुमको ऐसी जगह लेके आया हूँ. And almost like along with the waiter selling, यार ये try कर, वो try कर, you know. So that's the insight that we had for Nomad.
Nice. And are you done with your categories? Like you said, daily food, like EatFit, biryani, pizza?
Yeah, I think 90% we are done. Within the daily food, we don't have South Indian, and we don't know if we do want to do
ticket size, AOV issue.
वो crack नहीं कर पाएंगे हम लोग. So and offline में there's no right to win.
And some things don't ride well also. They don't deliver well.
It's not. I'm saying offline में, so we are not averse to opening offline only stores as well. But South Indian में we don't have a right to win. मतलब करेंगे तो क्या करेंगे? You can't compete with this Umesh to some point, right? So
उसका budget भी बहुत छोटा है. हमने जो देखा है कि मतलब most people who eat there stand and eat. You know, they're very dense.
70 रुपए का बजट होता है.
हाँ, और 70 रुपए का बजट ही उतना है. और उसके अंदर पेट भर के खाता है आदमी. And वो खड़ा खड़ा खा लेता है. लेकिन if you go to a branded place, you know, you can't make it look like that.
So South Indian is one large category we're missing, and second large category which I think we have missed the bus right now, I feel, is the chicken. So KFC is growing leaps and bounds every quarter, and अभी Popeyes भी आया है इंडिया में. Jubilant has brought them. It's going to be a large category. I don't think again we have any right to win against KFC there. मतलब हमारा वो fried chicken का format clear है. I got some advice, some consumer research said कि आप you take them head on with a tandoori chicken. It's not the same. Fried chicken takes 2 minutes to cook.
Yeah.
Tandoori chicken takes 15 minutes. So KFC has done so much.
And tandoori chicken taste will be nuanced.
Yes.
Different regions will be different taste.
Marinate नहीं है, इसमें तो कुछ नहीं है, just flash fry करना है आपको. उस पे बेसन लगाते हैं चिकन पे, flash fry करते हैं. That's it. It's a phenomenal business. We would always leave out that 10% segment. If you go to airports in early mornings, you will see people eating KFC. It's unbelievable how well the brand has done.
But at the same time, I've seen that in burgers also. तो बर्गर में मैकडोनल्ड्स था, फिर बर्गर किंग आ गया, ग्लोबल ब्रांड आ रहे हैं, चैलेंज कर रहे हैं. आपको नहीं लगता है कि इंडियन ब्रांड कैन बिकम अ चैलेंजर ब्रांड?
In chicken, Wow is another company we should talk about. They've done extremely well. They've taken a segment with, I think Wow has...
And they've remained largely offline.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful business. Yeah. I think they've launched a category called Wow Chicken. But I'm just saying that वो जो fried chicken है वो KFC का ही invention है. मतलब बेसन, chicken.
Unless you go and just copy them blindly.
हाँ, copy करेंगे. So there are a few of them. I saw one very interesting brand. Then I googled them. They have 5 outlets. Exactly same menu. And so a lot of local people will copy. But chain बनाना उसमें and to be able to match KFC pricing.
Pricing and quality.
Yeah. So I think chicken and South Indian are 20% of demand which we are not catering to, may not be able to cater to.
Got it. And you're happy to leave that?
We're happy to leave that because we tried acquiring 1 or 2 brands in chicken and we realized that the product is not even like I personally don't consume chicken, but my team, my R&D chef said that वो half notch नीचे ही है वो मतलब product.
एक franchising पे आते हैं.
Yes.
One decision a lot of people, and particularly people who don't have the money,
yes.
right? They have to make a decision that should they? I've got 3-4 outlets which I could afford to put, but should we franchise?
Yeah.
Even people who are funded, they have to take a call.
Yeah.
Should they franchise and grow or not franchise? Right? We've seen that most decisions in India, entrepreneurs, we are franchising तब करेंगे जब पैसा खत्म हो गया. तब franchising पे दिमाग लगाते हैं, फिर राउंड हो जाता है तो भूल जाते हैं franchising. आपका क्या view उसके ऊपर?
See, I typically am not a huge fan of franchising my brand. I'm like in my current business, I am the brand custodian, and I'm very possessive about how things should look in a particular way. And more often than not, I believe that if you're going with a single franchisee, or either you work with people like Devyani, Sapphire, Westlife, then they are smart people, very big. They will do much better than you probably. But वो जो strategy होती है कि you go get a retail franchisor, उसमें overall the experience has not been good.
There is a model of, I agree.
Franchisee owned company operator.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'll tell you.
It's a financial model.
It's a financial model where then you end up paying 15% interest. See, in a business like ours, we will be super happy if we get to 20% operational EBITDA and 12-13% net of central costs. So, वो 20% का financial EBITDA है आपका, and you're giving 15. See, the franchisor won't invest. A franchisee won't invest unless he's making more than 12%. Because
I agree. You have to at least 15.
So 12 से 20 के बीच का number है. I assume that I make 17-18% in my store. So for 3%, it's not worth the while. But a lot of people do it as a means to raise funds. But at least I'm not in that race right now that I have to show up my revenues to. मेरे को दिखाना है कि profit बढ़ रहा है नहीं बढ़ रहा.
But it is going to be capital efficient, right?
Then I can get loan at 30-40%.
40%
पे loan ले लूँगा.
On your own balance sheet.
So I think people who don't even think that I think a lot of people who are franchising early on seem to be the one who want to flip it to someone else. Like the company की scale दिखा के बेच दो. See, we have one brand which we have franchised enough. You should franchise the brand if you think that either it's a franchisee-owned company operated model, then it's a financial model. It's like loan है ये.
Yeah.
Financier से पैसा लिया है. मतलब आपने investor से पैसा लिया है.
वो 15% उसको return देना है basically.
But अगर आपने उसको store चलाने को दिया है, a lot of people want to be busy in life. अभी tier 2 city में इतना पैसा आ गया है, the wives want to do something, the kids want to do something.
And hence they may not care for the 15%. They may be happy with
so they actually okay losing money also in first 3 months. देखिए उनकी दुकान है and मेरी frozen bottle की store है.
I love that model.
लेकिन frozen bottle we have a tier 3 franchising model. Tier 1 tier 2 हम खुद करते हैं. लुधियाना, पटना, लखनऊ, इन सब में हमने they feel very proud कि इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा मिल्क शेक
you give a frozen bottle franchise.
But उसमें reason इसलिए किया है आनंद that you know what you're franchising. We have an ice cream factory. So frozen bottle is nothing an ice cream, nothing but ice cream, milk, syrup and ice cream. So they are supposed to buy the ice cream from us. The flavor won't change then. Right. They can buy a mother dairy. So mother dairy के कारण thanks to the federations दूध सबका similar है. Quality sorted.
So you sell ice cream at your margins and then they take care of the rest.
So now and packaging and margin has to come from us. Store design we do and give it to them. now there is very
little room for
अगर
messing
उसके
up.
बाद भी कर रहे हैं तो फिर
In fact, you are right. Interestingly, ice creams have been a good thing to franchise. Quite a few other ice cream
good
brands.
business because it's one of the few food businesses जहाँ एक फैक्ट्री से आप पूरा कश्मीर से कन्याकुमारी चला सकते हो. One factory because it's frozen on day one.
Yeah.
Sometimes to freeze it and unfreeze it, it's frozen and consumed frozen.
And there is no last mile or last location assembly requirement.
That's the thing, and because a lot of other food categories, the cost of freezing and thawing and heating is very expensive.
Yes.
It's
And requires
frozen.
some skill also.
It's frozen in the first instance and consumed frozen.
Yeah.
So cost of supply chain is cheaper than बनाया गरम फिर freeze किया फिर thaw किया फिर गरम किया. So.
और उसमें थोड़ा बहुत स्किल भी चाहिए.
हाँ स्किल तो बिल्कुल चाहिए क्योंकि अगर कोई जो रेस्टोरेंट्स होते हैं दे टेक ग्रेवीज फ्रोजन मोस्ट रेस्टोरेंट्स बट उसमें सिर्फ थॉ करके नहीं होता उसमें तड़का भी डालना होता है घी भी डालना होता है
थोड़े प्याज भी डालने पड़ते हैं. आपने बताया कि सब्सक्रिप्शन किया है. तो हमने ये देखा है कि इंडिया में थोड़ा थोड़ा शुरू हुआ है बट इन जनरल ना वो खर्चा बांधना लोगों को पसंद नहीं आता है. सब्सक्रिप्शन पसंद नहीं आता है. So is it true for EatFit also? Is it changing?
See, I'll give you some numbers. We have about 3.5 million consumers who order every year from us. Last एक साल में 3.5 million consumers, उसमें से 1 million order every month. Repeat is 1 million, 33% customers order every month. And उस 1 million में से EatFit customers are 400K. Out of that 4 lakh people, about 8,000 people are on subscriptions.
अच्छा.
Where people
बहुत कम.
हाँ, so I'm saying 8,000 people are on subscription.
2%.
हाँ, and 8,000 times 6,000. That's the subscription revenue.
That's very low.
Yeah.
आपको लगता है वो चेंज हो रहा है कुछ भी?
So which is I'm saying our total subscription revenue is only like 8-9% of our total revenue.
हाँ.
So
चेंज होगा उसमें?
I don't think इससे ज़्यादा मतलब 8,000 लोग 6,000 रुपए दे रहे हैं.
बड़ी बात है.
I am surprised. Even like so someone was joking with me कि उसको स्पिन ऑफ कर देगा जिसके 100 मिलियन मिल जाएगा. एक सब्सक्रिप्शन बिजनेस में
आपने कुछ तो किया है.
$10 मिलियन का सब्सक्रिप्शन है तो उसका प्रीमियम मिल जाएगा. So I feel subscription is super tough. वो खर्चा बांधना पसंद नहीं है लोगों को. These 8,000 people are super fans. We call them super users. कि उनको EatFit दिन में 1-2 बार खाना ही है. तो वो सब्सक्रिप्शन के थ्रू करें या सिंगल्स के थ्रू करें कि आके खरीदते रहें. तो एनी ब्रांड can actually get that 10,000 super
मोस्टली बैंगलोर के स्टार्टअप एम्प्लॉइज होंगे आपके सब
4,000 तो आउटर रिंग रोड में
मैं वही बोला.
1,000 गुरगांव के गोल्फ कोर्स रोड पे हैं.
समझ गया.
1,000 हैदराबाद में बंजारा हिल्स में. You can understand.
Understood who they are.
उनको एक्चुअली पैसा मिलता होगा कंपनी से खर्च करने के लिए, वो सारा यहाँ पे कर देते हैं.
नहीं, and you need to have a certain level of income.
Yes.
And anybody who's जो मतलब घर खरीदने के हफ्ते भर रहा है वो तो नहीं करेगा.
नहीं. ये या तो बिल्कुल अर्ली जॉबर्स जिनको बिल्कुल आउटसोर्स कर देना है या फिर और इवॉल्व कस्टमर्स. बीच वाले नहीं है.
काफी कुछ इंडिया में ना स्नैक्स पे खर्च होता है. हमने जो होता है समोसा या आपने बोला कि यार वो सब तो नहीं वायबल होगा. तो और उसमें ना ऑफलाइन चेंज भी वायबल नहीं है बिकॉज अब शाम के मतलब आपको भेल खानी है या समोसा खाना, उसके लिए क्या चेन बनाएगा आदमी. तो उसमें क्या प्ले हो सकता है?
उसका प्ले ऑफलाइन जो है बहुत अच्छा चल रहा है. उसमें
अनऑर्गेनाइज चल रहा है जो.
बट उसमें आप देखिए ना बैंगलोर में लाइक माय फेवरेट फूड ब्रांड इन बैंगलोर इज आनंद स्वीट्स.
यस.
फिनोमिनल बिजनेस. बढ़िया ऑर्गेनाइज कर दिया इन्होंने. दैट्स द वे टू गो.
गॉट इट.
बहुत like I don't think there's a higher quality food brand in Bangalore right now. With packaging, food quality.
They've killed it in packaging. Phenomenal packaging.
Product.
And मेरा ये मानना है कि उन लोगों का भी फूड कॉस्ट 30% ही होगा.
उनका 30%. I talked to the founder and बहुत बढ़िया 30%. Packaging में they spend 2-3% more than Haldiram's and it's visible. And that's why so it's a thing right. दिवाली के टाइम पे 50% share of wallet होता है उनका. Share of I think अब देखो कि दिवाली की टेबल तो 50% डब्बे
आनंद स्वीट्स के होते हैं. हाँ. वो मतलब डब्बा एक्चुअली गिफ्ट करने लायक बनाया है उन्होंने. वो किल किया है. Even if you bring it home you feel good. मतलब in fact particularly when people are doing portion control तो 50 रुपए एक्स्ट्रा देने में कुछ किसी को चुभता भी नहीं है. तो ये कि इंडिया में ज़्यादा लोग मतलब अभी ना 90% पीपल ईट होम कुक्ड फूड. चाइना में 50% है. यूएस में तो पता नहीं मतलब there are pockets where people practically don't ever eat at home.
There are cities where there are no kitchens.
There are no kitchens in the houses. Right? Yeah. At best people will just have some cereal in the morning.
Yeah.
That's it. And वो भी cereal नहीं, वो they eat a bagel as breakfast.
Bagel coffee.
Bagel coffee on the go. तो ये इंडिया में क्या लगता है ऐसे ही रहेगा? Because there is a little bit of Indian जो culture है वहाँ पे most people have only one working member. तो आपको लगता है कुछ change होगा या ऐसे ही चलेगा?
See, Anand, in India about 3 to 4 crore people behave or live in a world which is very similar to the Southeast Asian economy. I won't say the Western world, but Southeast Asian की बहुत hectic life है. For those 3-4 crore people are the core target audience for Swiggy, Zomato and people like us.
Okay.
That segment will grow at 30-40%. That segment share of wallet will grow at 30-40%. And the remaining 10 million में से it will grow at 15%. So net, this industry will grow at 30%, out of which 20% will come from Swiggy, Zomato की growth, and then people like us have to drive our own growth.
यार, लेकिन साथ में काफी सारे लोग अपना घर बार छोड़ करके शहरों में आ रहे हैं. Right? They work as sales people, blue collar workers, and वो लोग अफोर्ड नहीं कर पाते हैं क्लाउड किचन्स. जैसे इवन अगर आप बीपीओ में, इन्फोसिस वगैरह में भी देखो तो एंट्री लेवल सैलरी 3-4 लाख
नहीं, वो नहीं कर पाते
हैं. तो उनके लिए तो अनऑर्गेनाइज ही मार्केट रहेगा.
और पता है अनऑर्गेनाइज रहेगा, और लगता है कि उनके लिए टिफिन है. टिफिन इज अ वेरी स्मॉल बिजनेस. टिफिन सर्विस इज वेरी स्मॉल बिजनेस, नॉट लाइक बहुत बड़ा बिजनेस. आई थिंक दे जस्ट ईट आउट. मतलब दे फाइंड देयर लोकल. हाँ, जैसे यहाँ पे कितने सारे केरला मेस हैं, राइट? लाइक उसमें 80 रुपए में अनलिमिटेड मील्स, 90 रुपए में अनलिमिटेड मील्स. हाँ. So that's the model.
हमने देखा कि इंडिया एक ही कंट्री है जहाँ $1 में अनलिमिटेड फूड मिल जाता है.
So in the current inflationary world also, जो होते हैं ये केरला मेस and a lot of these Andhra mess, 100 रुपए में you also get 2-3 chicken pieces.
और वो सांबर में टमाटर आज भी है उनके.
So I think food cost वहाँ पे काफी controlled होता है. I think the way to do that is कि there's massive bulk cooking. Food cost is probably 25 rupees. मेरे को लगता है कि 25 रुपए का खाना होता है, and then they're able to sell at 50, 70, 100, 200 in a place like Nagarjuna, which is of course favorite in Bangalore.
नागार्जुना का फूड कॉस्ट तो 25 से भी कम होगा.
मैं कह रहा हूँ कि they are able to sell at 250, maybe their meal is 250 rupees, but वही 25-30 रुपए का खाना है.
गुड टू नो. ये टारगेट कस्टमर, आपको लग रहा है कि ये जो टारगेट कस्टमर है अभी भी इनका भी इनकम कैप्ड है? देयर वाज अ थोड़ा बहुत बूम आया था पिछले स्टार्टअप सैलरीज में, वो भी थोड़ा नॉर्मलाइज हो रहा है. तो ये लोग, इनका AOV भी बढ़ेगा अपार्ट फ्रॉम वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ?
AOV नहीं होगा, फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ेगी. आई थिंक एज द नंबर ऑफ पीपल इन द फैमिली हु वर्क ग्रोज, आई थिंक अभी ऑफ कोर्स लाइक अ सिंगल पर्सन वर्किंग इन फैमिली स्टिल अ ट्रेंड इन इंडिया, एंड मोर सो इन मॉडर्न इंडिया, लाइक द cities.
If you can afford, you wouldn't want your spouse to work.
Yes, that's the thing. So I'm saying जैसे it becomes a double income family, the number of meals where you're eating out or ordering it increases, and that will continue to improve. And second, the celebration occasions, and precisely why we decided to do stores like Nomad and brands like Nomad and Sharief Bhai, because we, in our previous avatar of EatFit, were completely missing out on Friday evening to Sunday evening.
Yes.
हमारा 70% revenue is Monday to Friday lunch. Friday lunch भी नहीं, क्योंकि ऑफिस आउटिंग लोग हेल्दी नहीं खाते. तो वी आर नाउ वेरी हैवी ऑन सेलिब्रेशन, एंड उसका एक इंडिकेटर है कि 31 दिसंबर को हमारा कितना ऑर्डर स्पाइक करता है. इन द प्रीवियस अवतार व्हाइल वी वर एट कल्ट, हमारा 31 दिसंबर को रेवेन्यू स्पाइक करता था, बट कल्ट का पीपल वर बाइंग सब्सक्रिप्शंस कि अगले साल से बस अब तो फिट हो जाएंगे, बट रेवेन्यू ऑफ फूड वाज डाउन. लास्ट 3 years से 31 दिसंबर इज द लार्जेस्ट डे, व्हिच मींस पीपल आर in, because last 5-7 साल से people don't like to step out for 31st December because it's very chaotic and very, so they want to celebrate indoors with music.
That is happening.
So that's what, so last year we spiked 3x. It's a nightmare. Wow. Because उसी kitchen से 3 गुना खाना निकालना is very tough. And this year we are already preparing for a 3.5x, because now we are saying can we get temporary pods in close by, so we are already planning for it.
Wow.
So Diwali भी ऐसी होता है, like not Diwali, sorry, राखी, वैलेंटाइंस डे, जहाँ पे केक ऑर्डरिंग ज्यादा होती है, इट गोज अप टू 4x 5x ऑर्डर्स आल्सो. लाइक राखी इज अ वेरी लार्ज डे फॉर केक ऑर्डरिंग.
ओह ओके. नहीं, ये अच्छा आपने बताया. आपने पहले बोला था ना कि these 3-4 crore people, they lead lives like people in Southeast Asia, very tense and hectic, like,
and some money,
and they have money.
Yes.
And then on the weekends, on any occasion, they have to let some steam off.
Yes.
So they will splurge on those days.
Yes.
So as a crowd brand, you can't just be solving for their lunch. You have to solve for their celebrations.
This is the biggest difference between the first avatar and second avatar of EatFit.
Right.
Where now we have a lot of subsidiary brands which are entertainment. AOV भी बढ़ता है, and utilization has been solved. Which is why, so today we are operationally profitable, Anand. Like we make operational EBITDA, and only the headquarter cost is the one which needs to be offset, which should happen in 3-4 months. And this is the big difference. The fact that we have more utilization.
Right. No, I like some of these celebration-oriented brands, because the emotional attachment is much higher if you are
Anand
a
Sweets
part.
is all of that.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I don't know, a few times I ordered from ITC. I think they are
Very
targeting
nice.
only that.
Master
They're
Chef
targeting
Creations,
only
brilliant
celebrations.
food.
Yeah.
And we are their partners. We do the cake brands we do. With
Oh,
them.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have tried this model where this is not a mainstream business, but a partner ITC, we don't want to say no. They are great partners. So in our kitchen, we have dedicated space for their. So it's a FOCO model.
Okay.
Franchisee run, company operated, company owned franchisee run model, where they allow us to assemble their cakes. And we sell it.
Oh, wow. In their brand.
In their brand. So in Swiggy, we control that store.
Yeah, because they have skipped all of this lunch and meals and all. They've straight away gone only into celebrations.
And their dal ka halwa is probably the best dal ka
Fabulous.
halwa.
Yeah. I don't know how they make it.
It's very good. So the facility is top notch, clean, everything. Very good service.
Yeah. Going forward, in general, food tech, right? I mean, in the food space, and we have to feed a country of 1.4 billion people. What trends do you think will happen?
See, I think the way the food tech was defined earlier, Anand, was nothing but just a logistics business. So I would say Swiggy, Zomato are retail and logistics companies. And there is very little food tech. Food tech actually stands for
food innovation.
Food innovation. Yeah. Luckily, we are beginning to see some of that happen in hardware space. And I believe that it won't be a very mass solution, but at least in the top 10, 12 cities, again, which houses about 40% of India's GDP, would see some work happening there. We are seeing, so B2B तो चल ही रहा है, उसकी बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ. The world has moved beyond just having robotic arms. पहले बोलते थे food hardware मतलब robotic arms कि वो रोटी बना देगा. But now it is more blending, brewing, mixing, tossing. All of that is happening, and I believe that two streams will come out of that. One is making cooking easier at homes, which was Mixie Blender was that. Yes. Well, right? So uske और advanced versions are there. And second is B2B kitchens, maybe making it easier for production. So there's a company which recently I also invested, like I personally invested in as a friend's company. It's called Zook. Example is that now they are able to dispense at airports and at offices. They're able to dispense 15 types of food products, and all you put in is 20 ingredients. So now they're able to. So उसमें पापड़ी चाट बनती है.
Oh.
So you put in दही नमकीन and उसी दही नमकीन से दूसरी चाट भी बन जाती है. So basically हम लोग उसमें खिचड़ी ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि खिचड़ी का बेस और टॉपिंग्स. तो all of that put together you can get.
Because a lot of households would rather solve for home cooked food.
Yes.
There's a premium attached to that.
Yes. So I think इसका अगर household version बनेगा तो you just put in 7-8 ingredients and say ये 4 चीजें बना के दे दो.
Wow.
So it's happening. It's not like many years away.
नहीं ये चाहिए because हमने एक स्टडी की थी कि जो maids है ना, the next generations of the maids families are not coming back as maids. Yes. They don't want to do that maid वाला job.
Absolutely not. Yes.
So I think very soon जैसे अमेरिका में होता है कि maids और drivers जो है वो तो privilege है.
They come
only rich people. Coming at a premium, and it's becoming a privilege of very rich people now.
And the other thing which people don't realize, Anand, and the fact is, if you're cooking at home, the food safety aspect is completely neglected. खाना बना देते हैं, फिर गर्म कर देते हैं, फिर बाहर छोड़ देते हैं, फिर गर्म कर देते हैं. Like food is not supposed to be reheated so many times. No. But हम घर में करते ही हैं, मतलब हाँ 3 बार लोगों ने खाना खाया 1 घंटे के गैप में तो गरम ठंडा. So these things have to be solved.
Yes.
In a country which is so tropical like us, and bacteria and all of that is so easy to grow. So.
True. I think there is less awareness about that. Like you said ना कि जो हम लोग पहले करते थे वो वापस से करना होगा. यहाँ पे खाना बन गया उस टाइम पे खा लो.
Exactly. फ्रिज था नहीं तो खाना जो बना है खाओ या बस डिस्कार्ड करो.
How often do you eat at EatFit?
Twice a day.
Twice a day?
Yeah.
Wow. Phenomenal. Apart from the testing day when you eat?
I order both my meals in office are from EatFit.
How often do you eat from Nomad?
Nomad once in 10-20 days. Yeah.
And has it improved your health after eating EatFit?
EatFit, yes. I feel that because EatFit meals are portion control, and that's one problem which some customers feel that's small portions. But if you eat 3 times a day from EatFit, you will never put on weight because they're portion control.
क्या बात है?
Yes.
And if you have to pick one brand, I think I know the answer. where you have to say, okay, the rest of your life, this is what you have to eat. It'll be EatFit or?
Yeah, from EatFit, there is a oatmeal bowl, fruit pop oatmeal bowl. I can eat it 3 times a day also.
क्या बात है?
It has a sweet texture, sweet
I've
taste.
tried it, very good.
Yeah, so I love it. And now there are 6 flavors, so you can just keep trying different flavors.
Awesome. What is the largest order value? We spoke about December 31st.
Yeah.
What is the largest order you got in?
Yeah, so December 31st, we get a lot of orders.
Volumes.
Largest is a few weeks back, we got 100 khichdi's ka order during lunch. So some office person was serving khichdi's to his
Order
team
online?
members. Yes, ordered online. He didn't reach out to our call center. He just went to Swiggy and created 6 orders of 15 each.
Nice. What is the funniest request or feedback you got from a customer?
Customer asked us to add roti to, like, get a suggestion that if when you're sending a salad, like a salad portion, please send 1 roti also along with that. So we found it.
Some carbs.
We found it funny, like roti and salad.
You didn't agree.
Of course not. We said we'll add some rice grains to it,
Huh.
which we have done. We've added some quinoa, etc. Because carbs. is not-
Maybe a garlic toast.
Yeah.
मुझे भी थोड़ा होता है वो.
उसने बोला कि चपाती ऐड कर दीजिएगा.
Hey, these guys order salads for lunch.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
What was the wackiest item or wackiest brand have you thought of launching?
See, we were thinking of once launching a kids food brand, and we were trying to tie up with one of these characters, etc. And we worked a lot on these SKUs, each of them, like had it been Disney, there would be a lot of Marvel characters. Then we took a step back and said, that's not how consumers eat. Just because you like Thor, you want. So we had done a lot of work, and then we shelved the idea. Where we said that every SKU will be attached to a
character.
Yeah. Then
Nice.
we did, and Disney had agreed for this, and then we backed off. Like,
Okay.
it won't work.
Your favorite Indian startup, besides Flipkart, of course.
Grow.
Grow.
By a distance.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Most inspirational Indian founder?
If Nandan Nilekani can be slotted as a founder,
Why not?
definitely him.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's of course a founder of Infosys, but yeah, very inspirational. Very inspirational. Yes.
Fabulous. Most challenging moment in the EatFit journey so far?
I think all of pandemic, it was so challenging. For the first 2 months, if food was defined as an essential item, but still for no reason, the police would just catch hold of our delivery boys. Like, there was no written thing that, delivery is not allowed. Then the supply chain was a problem. Then the customer was not paying. So I think the first 8-9 months of pandemic was extremely tough, purely because every day, and 20% of our team, delivery team, had COVID at any point of time. So you had to hire more people, costs. So it was very tough.
So what do we expect going forward from you? IPO and run EatFit forever, or continue being a serial entrepreneur?
See, I think being a serial entrepreneur is very tough. Like, the first 2-3 years until the product market fit is so tough. So I would really hope that I'm excited enough to run it for multiple years. Next 10 years is very clear, Anand. I think
Achha.
we'll take it public in 3 to 4 years. I think that's the best part about a food business, that at 150 to 200 million revenue.
Yes, you can.
It's a IPO-able
Yeah.
business.
That's the same size as, let's say, Westlife today.
Yes. And multiples are like
Yeah,
tech
crazy.
multiples. I don't know how it works, but
Yeah. Better than
6-7x of revenue.
I agree.
50 times 60 times EBITDA. So if we are able to get to a 10%, 20%, 10-12% EBITDA, we'll take it public.
Awesome. लास्ट क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ.
Yes.
आपको क्योरफूड में सबसे अच्छा रोल कौन सा है कि यार ये रोल तो मैं ही करूंगा, मैं किसी को हैंड ओवर नहीं करूंगा, डेलीगेशन में से नहीं करूंगा?
कोई भी डिश लॉन्च होती है तो until and unless I taste it, it does not go live.
क्या बात
So
है?
so while I have a full army and a very good team of R&D people, there is no corporate R&D head. The chef, I am the guy.
नहीं हम आ जाएंगे ऐसे we'll
So
volunteer.
every Friday, so आज tasting है. Every
क्या बात
Friday
है?
there is a tasting,
Oh,
and I skip lunch and dinner that day.
क्या
Whatever is supposed to go live the week after, 10 दिन बाद live जाएगा, आज tasting होती है. Then the week after we do consumer tasting, and उसमें भी अगर है then it goes live.
ये बात है, मतलब तो this explains कि इंडिया में इतने फूड वाले entrepreneurs क्यों हैं. अब समझ में आ रहा है.
Like food is the best business to be in because you just get to try so many things.
यार मैं थोड़ा ब्रेक लेता हूँ, कुछ खाना पड़ेगा. Such a pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.